Hello. I'd like to start off just to give a bit of background about how we got here to talk to you today. I'm Bob. I'm a student of politics at the University of Aberdeen, as been mentioned.
And I'm Liam. I'm also a student from the University of Aberdeen, and I'm studying conservation biology. So, yeah, as mentioned, our background does lie within the park. Myself from a small farm and doing local conservation work.
And myself in Junior Ranger and Scouts. In 2018, which was the year of the young people, as you may remember, we took the opportunity to be part of a project called the Europark Youth Manifesto. The project was mainly centred around tackling gentrification in rural areas and increasing a youth presence in rural affairs. The project gave us an appreciation for youth involvement and community projects that strengthen rural areas.
We took this passion forward to the Cairngorms Youth Action Team, or CYAT, and hope to start the next phase of bolstering living, working and learning opportunities for young people in the Cairngorms National Park. So what exactly is the Cairngorms Youth Action Team?
There are a plethora of issues hindering young people from living, learning and working in national parks. The CYAT is a project designed to tackle these issues at the root. We empower the youth in rural communities by offering grant funding to kickstart youth-driven projects and enabling our members to run events and connect with rural politics and shape their community.
So we come to you today to offer a youth perspective on what needs to change, and our angle on how we would generate a more environmentally conscious and sustainable community structure within the Cairngorms National Park.
I'm going to start by talking about community initiatives, which is a ground-up way of dealing with climate change. When it comes to dealing with an issue as big as climate change, it can be very daunting to tackle it from the ground up, as many of us have to. So tailored community initiatives can assist communities to act as a group and eliminate that fear of isolation.
So life on campus has illuminated the benefits of these initiatives to us. Such projects are commonplace among student populations because the lack of money and other resources, such as equipment, leads to these being created out of necessity. So here are some examples.
In Aberdeen, we have something called B-Cycle. It's a project, a sort of tool library style workshop where anyone can come and hire a bike and is then taught the skills to repair and maintain it.
And Evergreen is an initiative that focuses on circular economy, sustainability, and money saving tips, which incidentally reduces individuals' carbon footprints. You get to share and gain new skills, and also acts as an equipment library for kits such as sewing machines.
At university, these initiatives are born out of necessity, but rural communities can benefit from the same initiatives which are not necessarily born out of necessity, but instead create a variety of other benefits, such as reducing consumerism, passing on skills, especially traditional, and preserving those. Empowering individuals, especially these target demographics of youth, immigrants, disabled and elderly, and social aspects which help to strengthen the community.
So the Cairngorms National Park Authority, like many other rural organisations, as you know, have put in place well-considered plans for developments, such as the local development plan. So firstly, the public was consulted by community councils and associations about 2 years ago, and these were regarding 10 major issues that are to be addressed over the next few years by the authority. So the plan sets out the major authorities: housing, jobs, services, with added weight to natural and cultural heritage.
The Cairngorms National Park is also taking climate change seriously. This event is testament to that. For instance, the Net Zero with Nature report and Cairngorms Connect. It means the context of mitigation is always present. One of the big discussions is on how and where development should happen in the future. The consensus is focusing development in key areas and settlements like Abbeymoor, and reducing unnecessarily development in rural areas.
It's hard to argue with this, but as a tutor coming from the sticks, I think we have to be careful not to ignore the need for improvement in these areas. We're of course tailoring them to be sympathetic to local contexts and avoiding environmental degradation wherever possible. So this could be providing broadband to isolated communities, or creating a cycle route so that a kid can get to their friend's house safely.
We think that following improvements should be made to sustain young people's existence in rural areas. Firstly, affordable housing and employment opportunities, and second, cheaper, effective public transport and good transport links. These are what many of us have lacked growing up and saw as major barriers for us continuing to live and work in the park.
So the transport and housing sectors are two majorly recognised carbon sources. So developing these may seem counterproductive to our targets today. Unfortunately, other issues such as rural depopulation and the alienation of young people cannot simply be put on the back burner. So solutions need to integrate these goals so that both of them can be achieved in tandem.
Young people, especially in rural areas, are put on the sideline and often given quite a bad reputation. We're often thought of as impulsive, naive, unproductive, but the reality is the National Park needs us for the next generation, and for the rural communities that reside in and around the park, we are the next generation to steward these places into the modern age.
Without young people in these areas, the sustainable innovation and passion of the new generation of park services and communities could be lost. Therefore, it's vitally important to foster an active youth presence here, and can only be done by improving living and working opportunities in the park for all of us. In order for this, we would like the following. So firstly, youth involvement from a young age into decision making and park politics, so that no age group feels left behind. And secondly, more opportunities for young interns and job skills training, not just arbitrary, but tangible.
And there's proof of this method working on a national scale. For example, youth parliaments, such as those in Europe and our own Scottish Youth Parliament. These bring together young people to debate current issues, brainstorm solutions, and even share a table with seasoned experts and decision makers.
The Scottish Youth Parliament has been a driving force behind the 16-year-old vote in the 2014 independence referendum. And their current national campaign, started late last year, is focused on the environment and climate change. Organisations such as this are incredibly important because they provide an interface. Over 10,000 young people are consulted by the Scottish Youth Parliament, and their views are concentrated into recommendations. They also inspire the next generation of decision makers by giving them real-world opportunities to make a difference in practical experience.
So, to summarise our points and give some recommendations based on those, we want the following. Firstly, efforts should be made to encourage community projects, especially those that impact the target demographics, particularly young people.
Like interfaces for rural politics, such as community councils, should be also visible to and oriented towards young people. Simple websites and newspapers unfortunately miss the younger demographic. Documents should be created with jargon filters and accompanying social media posts.
More young people should be involved in decision making within the park. As part of the Cairngorms Youth Action Team, we are very keen to be involved in future plans within the park, and more importantly, to act as an interface for young people to engage them in what happens in the park.
We want more efforts to be made to attain affordable housing, a cheaper, effective public transport, and good transport links, encouraging more young people to live and work here.
We want better opportunities for young park interns and job skills training, not just arbitrary but tangible.
We want a faster and more complete feedback process, where decisions on many issues are both better informed and more urgently needed than ever. Scotland's 2045 net zero target demands this of us all, to press on and break out of any business as usual doldrums in our behaviour and actions.
And finally, we want optimism. The park is moving in the right direction. This event is testament to that. And we're seeing young people engaged in all fields being listened to like they deserve.
We want to maintain our momentum, and you can all help us achieve our goal simply by staying positive. If you have any question, please find us later.
I want to leave you with a question. What are you in your organisations going to do to help us to achieve our aims? Thank you for your time.